All right, welcome to Shelly's English School. My name is Shelly. I'll be your teacher today. If you don't know me, I've been teaching for more than 20 years. I love teaching English, so I really hope you like this video. All right, today's lesson, we're going to be making a question. Today, we're going to be practicing may I, may I. Okay, so this is also a permission question. You might have seen a couple other of my videos, can I and could I. May I is the same thing, but it's very polite. Okay, can I and could I, we use it quite commonly. May I will be a little bit in a more formal situation. Right? So as always, make sure you have a piece of paper, a pencil ready. We're going to be doing a lot of active learning today. You're going to be making questions. You're going to see some pictures pop up. I'm going to give you some situations and you'll be able to practice making may I questions. Okay, so we have can I, could I, may I. Now, may I is used in more formal situations. It's more polite than the other two. And another thing with may I is often this is going to be used by service industry workers. Okay, service industry workers, what does that mean? So that means if you are working in a restaurant, if you're working in a clothing store, if you're working in a hotel, you're providing a service, you will use may I questions a lot. So this is a great lesson for you. All right, so just like could I and can I, may I is followed by an action word, a verb. Okay, so may I use, may I borrow. Okay, now if something is very important to you, or if you are a service industry worker, if the situation is very formal, then please use may I. Okay, next. If somebody asks you, may I, if they ask you a may I question, your answer is going to be, yes, you may, or no, you may not. Okay? Yes, you may, or no, you may not. So if somebody is asking you, those are your answers. Now, you could even say even easier. Instead of yes, you may, I might just say, sure. Okay, so if somebody asks me, Shelly, may I borrow your notebook? Yeah, sure. Okay, very simple answer. My answer is more casual. The person asked me a very polite question, but that's okay. So sure is a quite easy answer. All right, so next is the active part of this lesson. So make sure you have your paper and pencil ready, and you're gonna see some pictures pop up. I'm gonna explain a situation, okay? So here, I will explain a situation. You'll see some pictures. Okay? Use that situation and use the pictures to make a may I question. Okay, so again, you'll see pictures, I'll explain a situation, use that information to make a may I question. Now, before we get to the very first situation, this is a good time for me to ask you, please subscribe to this channel, please hit the notification bell, please give me a thumbs up, and please feel free to leave a comment or a question about this lesson. Now, subscribing will be a great help for me. It really helps me to provide more content, more lessons for this channel. Okay, situation number one. Okay, situation number one. You are going to telephone your friend. Okay, so for this situation, okay, everybody, your friend's name is Bob. Your friend's name is Bob, okay? So you're going to telephone Bob, right? So you get on the phone, you dial his phone number, okay? You put the phone up to your ear, okay? Ring, 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 okay? Somebody answers the phone, but it's not Bob. It's not Bob. Maybe it's Bob's friend, maybe it's Bob's sister, maybe it's Bob's wife or mother, okay? So I want to talk with Bob, okay? What is the question I will ask? What is the may I question I will ask in this situation? All right, for this situation, I want to be very polite. So my question would be, may I speak to Bob, please? Okay. May I speak to Bob, please? Okay. You notice I added please to it. So please makes it even more polite. Okay, situation number 2. This is for anyone who's working in a restaurant. This will be very helpful for you, but everybody should practice this, even if you don't work in a restaurant. But if you are a waiter, a waitress, a bartender, this will be a very good situation for you. Okay, so I want you to imagine you're working in a restaurant and the customer's drink is finished. Maybe they were drinking an orange juice. Maybe they were drinking a coffee, but it's finished. So I want to know, does that customer want more of that drink? Okay, so if I'm the waiter, what will I ask the customer? If you're the waiter, what will you ask the customer? All right, so if I were a waiter, I would ask, may I bring you another drink? May I bring you another drink? Or I might ask, may I get you another drink? May I get you another drink? Okay. If one of those were your answers, that's great. If not, and you have a different question, please leave it in the comments below. And I'll check it and I'll let you know how it is. And there are many different ways to answer these questions, these situations. So, leave the comments down below. All right, number three. Now, we were a waiter. Now you're going to be working in a department store or a clothing store. Okay, so I want you to imagine you're working in a clothing store and a customer walks in. Okay, I'm sure we're all customers. We walk into a clothing store. Usually the store clerk asks us something. Okay, and I want you to imagine if you were the store clerk, a customer walks in. What's your question? All right, so my question would be, may I help you? Okay, may I help you? Okay, this question is very common. Not only a clothing store, if I go to a bank, usually the teller would ask me, may I help you? Anytime you go to a business, most times they will ask you, may I help you? All right, so I hope you got that correct. And if not, again, let me know your answers. Okay, situation number 4. Okay, we're changing jobs again. Now you are working at a hotel. You're working at a hotel. You're working at the front desk. And some new guests have come. New customers. These guests are trying to check in. Okay, so the guests will say their name. Okay, but it's important maybe to see their passport, or maybe it's important to check their identification, their ID. Okay? If you're the hotel worker, what question will you ask the guest who's trying to check in? All right, so here maybe I would say, may I see your ID? May I see your passport? May I see your driver's license? Okay, I hope you got that correct. Now, let's move to the 5th and final situation. And this final situation, you're not a worker. Now you are a student. You're a student, okay? But today, you have to go to the dentist, or maybe you have to go to the doctor, or you have an appointment. So you must leave from school a little bit early. Okay. So it's important that you ask your teacher. Okay, what question will you ask your teacher? All right, my question would be, may I leave class early today? May I leave class early today? Okay, or may I go home early today? May I go home early today? Okay, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you joined along. I hope you spoke out all of the questions and practice using the pictures and the situations. Today we practice may I. Okay, so may I is a very formal way to ask for permission. May I is often used by workers at a restaurant or a hotel, cafes, any type of service industry. We will use this question a lot. But even if you don't work in those types of jobs, we use these a lot. If it's a very formal situation, it's very important to use may I. All right, so may I plus a verb. All right, if you have any questions about this lesson, please ask them down below and I will make sure to try to answer all of your questions. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell. The notification bell just lets you know when I post another lesson. So if you really want to study English and it's fun, hitting the notification bell and subscribing is a great way for you to follow along and study English with me. All right, my name is Shelly, Shelly's English School. There's a lot of other videos as well, so please check those out. And I look forward to studying English with you again in the next lesson. All right, until then, see ya.